I'm good.
Recording in progress.
Got it.
All right. Well, welcome, marketeers. I'm Debbie Clayson. I'm your chief wordsmith over here at Clayson Communications. And as your hometown marketing expert, it's my goal to provide you with effective marketing services at an affordable price. And so, based on that, today it's my pleasure to welcome in Barbara Murphy-Shannon, who is the owner of Foreplay Copy, which is a very cheeky email marketing service. Would you not agree with me, Barbara?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, she is. And those of you who are already subscribers to Foreplay Copy know what I'm talking about. But Barbara is a business coach. She's a writer, and she's an email strategist who's really into word psychology. So she helps people create strong brands and messaging that is clear, cohesive, compelling, and consistent, and emails that your clients are going to love. And I have to say that Barbara's helped me out quite a bit with my email marketing. Even though I'm a writer, I've been able to take away lots of her suggestions, and I have a lot of fun creating my emails now and interacting with my clients. But today we want to talk about email as a marketing strategy. And just, Barbara, you just need to help everybody understand why it's important uh, and what they can do to grow their list. So let's just start with a basic question, because we have had this question before, you and I. What's the difference between the email that you and I might send each other as friends and then an actual email marketing campaign? What's the difference?
Sure. Great question, of course, because we do get that all the time. So email that you use in a business sense where you're communicating with coworkers or clients, that's a form of communication as opposed to picking up the phone call or picking up the phone and making a phone call or, sending a fax, I guess, which we don't do anymore. At least I haven't. And then email marketing, the goal behind that really is to grow your business. And by growing your business through communication through email, it's nurturing that relationship with that client or potential client. And there's a variety of different types of marketing with email. So there's something what's called a welcome sequence. That would be someone that would sign up for your email list and you send them a welcome sequence. And in those emails, you're introducing yourself, you're getting to know who this person is. You're trying to figure out what's going to be the relevant information that you want to share with them. There's a nurture sequence, and that's pretty much an ongoing process. So that's just keeping up that relationship, building that know, like, and trust with that potential client or client. And then there are emails where you're promoting your business or a certain service or a course or whatever that is. Of course, you're marketing. And the point of that is to sell something. And then, of course, you also have ones that, like if you're an e-commerce, one that's called abandoned cart. So what we can do is a trigger would go off and we'd send an email and say, hey, you left your XYZ that you wanted to buy in your cart. Don't forget to buy it. So it's just a reminder. There's browse abandonment emails that we can send. We can see that you've been looking at certain things online, and we can say, hey, don't forget, you look like you like this dress. I don't know about you, but I get them a lot because I like to shop online. So the goal of email marketing is to grow your business and, of course, sell your products and services.
Yes. And so it's a lot different than just sending an email to everybody in your address list, right?
Yeah.
You've got an email service provider like a MailChimp or a Constant Contact or something that, like I use the one, as you well know, that came with my website.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's kind of a different animal too, right?
Yeah. So what happened, like I can't date it, but I know I used to do it when I worked in a corporate office, is we would copy and paste all the email addresses, then plaster them into an email, like Gmail or Outlook, and do like 20 at a time because it wouldn't take more than that. Well, that now is called spamming. So when email service providers came around, they were developed a software so that you can do, bulk emails, addresses, your whole list. You don't have to do it in chunks. And then there's also the legalities part of that where it's like not spamming. So there's email service providers. Now there's, hundreds of them. And when someone asks me, well, which one should I choose? It really comes down to your needs, and what's going to work best for you. If you only have 500 people on your email list, don't go start, spending $200 a month on an email service provider. There's plenty out there that are free or very affordable, under $50, that can do everything that you need it to do. And again, it depends on your business. If you are e-commerce, then what's it called? Clavico is one that is like really e-commerce, so it would have that abandoned cart triggers and all those. But if you're a brick and mortar, you don't need those necessarily. So more of a constant contact, maybe a MailChimp would work better.
Okay, so you mentioned the aspect of spamming. Mm-hmm. And I'd like for you to talk a little bit more about that because, I think we've all received those emails. We've been put on an email list just because we've had an introduction or an association maybe with a colleague or a coworker, and we didn't sign up for that. Yes. So talk about the importance of securing that permission.
Yes. So, I mean, the laws say that you can't, it's, against the law to email somebody that hasn't asked to be emailed to. So if you met somebody or you, like you said, as an acquaintance and you just start emailing people, it's basically breaking the law. The legal way to do it is called an opt-in. So you ask if they want to be part of your email list, if they give you their email address, and then opt in. And even better is a double opt-in. Then you really know that they really truly want to be on your email list. Some people shy away from that. They're afraid that they won't get the emails that the people to sign up. But what they've found is actually when you make it a little bit more difficult, like a double opt-in, what happens is then you really have true followers, true people that really want to get your emails and not just a bunch of people that aren't going to read it anyways. So it makes sense to have that double opt-in. And then also you're not breaking any laws. So you just have to be careful with that, just to throw people on your list, and never, ever, 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 ever buy an email list. It's just, so wrong. Because then the people you're emailing, you don't even know, they're not qualified. They're not qualified. If you're just trying to sell them something, and like you said, we all get them. There's still people and companies that are doing it. But think about how you respond to that. Like, who the heck is this emailing me? Yeah. You delete it, you unsubscribe. So it would be a waste of money to just go buy a list. Yeah, so I don't recommend it. Just build your list the normal way, which is with all your touch points that you have a potential to meet a customer. So, opt in on your website. So that's just a button that they could opt in, goes to the email service provider. They give you an email address, they get on your list. If you're a brick and mortar, have something at your counter, your front desk, would you like to find out when we do specials? Sign up here for your email. This is all ways that you can collect emails and legally. and you pre-qualify them. They're not going to sign up if they're not interested in your product and service.
Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense to me. But I can tell you personally, I think that's the thing that I struggled with the most, was how to get people on my list. It's so funny too, because, my job and what I've done for the last 40 years is I put sentences together. I mean, I'm a writer, and that's my job, is to be creative for other people. But man, sometimes when it comes to myself, I just have the most difficult time coming up with the right, the right verbiage. Like, instead of just saying, I can remember the look on your face one time. I think I had shared with you the way I had worded something like, and you were like, I'm just so bored. I'm just so bored. I'm like, but, and then I started thinking about it. It's like so true. When people say sign up for my email list, other people are thinking, I don't want another email. Right. So there's that, right? How do you get people on your email list without just saying, hey, be a subscriber, I'm going to send you an email every week?
Right. Right.
I mean, do you have any
Well,
suggestions?
yeah, I mean, the opt-in, which is the thing that you're exchanging for their email address, has to be something that has valuable. It's got to be relevant to the person that's opting in. It has, you know, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, we all gave our email addresses out like no biggie, but now consumers are smarter. They're holding on tight to their email list because they don't want to get 100 million emails in their inbox. So it has to be something relevant to that person. That's why it's so important to niche down in your business and try not to be everything to everybody, because your emails will then reflect that, and it won't be relevant to the people that you're really trying to target. So make sure it's valuable. I always say give away your best stuff in your opt-in, because what you're trying to do is show that you are the expert. You are the place to go and buy this service or this program. So make sure it's something relevant, something good. Ebooks that are really long are kind of gone because everybody doesn't, we don't have any time either. So like checklists are good, tips are good, 10 or 7, don't make it, 30. But, you're trying to get to know someone. So it's almost like dating, I always say. It's like, you wouldn't like blurt out everything about you and your family and that crazy Uncle Joe in your first date, right? You're going to just kind of slowly get to know the person. Just that's the same thing with email. Slowly get to know them, show them you're sincere, you're authentic, that here's the things that I can help you with. If you have this pain, I can help you with it. So,
right.
the options.
So back to that opt-in, you're talking about a lead magnet, right? Something that's going to say, listen, sign up. This is what I'll give you. And then you can go from there to build that relationship.
Right.
And something you said to me really stuck with me too. Is again, I just keep seeing your face. You guys, honestly, you got to have lunch with Barbara Murphy-Shannon at least once in your lifetime. Like it is. But I can remember saying to you, well, I really need help growing my list. And you looked at me out of the corner of your eye and you were like, are you gonna send them emails once you get your list? So talk about that too. You can't just you build your list and then not communicate, right?
Right. Yeah. So if you're spending this effort to collect email addresses and build your audience, the last thing you want to do is then just disappear. It's like, someone's knocking at your door and you're hiding in the bedroom and not opening the door. It's like, that's not how we greet people. We invite them in, come in, have a cup of coffee. So yeah, you need to communicate with them. And again, if it's relevant, whatever that lead magnet, that opt-in, that checklist, if they opted in for that, that's what they're interested in. Keep talking about that. If that's what your expertise is in, keep talking about that. You have heard every reason or every pain point your customers had and why you solve it. So talk about that. Talk about what you do to help these pain points. For example, I'm doing right now the email audit. And there's so many steps to an audit. And I just every week I send out an email about one step as part of that audit. So it gets the people on my list thinking either, oh, I can do this myself, which is great, or they're going to be like, Barbara, this is so much. I just need you to help me do it.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And I can remember too, our conversations with you, you have said, email them once a week.
Mm-hmm.
So
minimum once a week.
There's research that indicates, right, that once a week isn't too much.
No. If anything, honestly, the more you email your list, the more money you're going to make. So, it's one of those things. If you think about the people that you do follow on email, and when you see that they pop up, on your email mailbox, what's the ones that you open up right away? Right? Those are the ones that you've been getting probably pretty often, not like once a year. You see this person go, oh, he's finally emailed me. No, it doesn't work that way. It's the ones that bring it up often. And you're not selling in every email. Again, you're giving value, you're helping your potential clients or customers out. And then when you do have something to sell, they're not going to feel like, oh, all she does is want to sell to me. You're going to be like, hey, I've got a lot of people that are really interested in solving this problem. I just put this course together. Let me know if you're interested. It's a great way to do market research. If everybody writes back, yes, we'll do it. Don't do the course until you do that, right? Or if it's crickets, you're going to be like, I guess that I thought it was a good idea, but my audience didn't.
That's great. That's great advice. So what would be, if you just had to give one great tip for people who are thinking about starting an email marketing, I don't know if you call it a campaign, just just growing your list, getting into email marketing, because the fact of the matter is if you're on social media, you don't own any of that, any of your followers' information at all. Right. So if you really want to communicate with the people who are interested in what you've got to offer, you have to have their email list, right? Exactly. So what would be your one main?
Yeah, I would say you have to look at the email list as what you just said. It's a business asset. It's something that you have anytime you need to sell something. You have that list where, like you had mentioned, that social media can go down and you have no control over that list. If you could have 10,000 followers on Instagram, but if Instagram goes down or they decide that you did something wrong, which I've heard has happened to multiple people when they didn't do anything wrong.
Oh yeah.
You have to beg and plead to try to get back on.
Yep.
And then your audience doesn't know what happened. Those 10,000 people that all of a sudden were seeing you every day have no clue why you left.
That's right.
You can't communicate to them. You can't tell them. You can yell, smoke signals, but they just think, well, maybe they left their job, or maybe they quit their business, or maybe they'll go somewhere else. And then you'd have to fight to get them all back again, which again, another story I've heard from multiple people when this has happened. So you have to look at the email list as your business asset. Not that you should definitely do social media, because that's another way of communicating and marketing, but then try to get them to go on your list. So you have a link on your, Instagram or Facebook where they can click on and then go to your website, find that opt-in, and then start building that like, know, and trust relationship with them.
That's amazing advice. And I hope all of you out there will consider, if you don't already have an email list, you'll consider the importance of actually building one, and then communicating with that list, communicating with those people who have indicated an interest in working with you. And if you need help, obviously, Foreplay Copy, Barbara Murphy-Shannon, she's your go-to gal, and I'll make sure that you get all of her information. We'll post it in the links, or I'm gonna do some editing on this video, so maybe we'll just put it right there on the video content. And so, Barbara, I can't thank you enough for spending time with us today. I know that you've got lots of things on your plate. And
yeah, and then anyone that hears this, if they are doing email but not sure that they're doing it correctly, that I do a free audit. I'll just go through what you're doing and let's give you helpful hints, and either you're going to do it yourself or I could help you with it. And then if you're just starting, foreplaycopy.com, I put out a weekly email about email marketing. So maybe that would help you kind of understand and get going with your email marketing as well.
Perfect. Thank you again so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Debbie.
Appreciate it. And we're going to have to catch up over a glass of wine or something when
I get back from Greece.
Yeah, when you get back from Greece. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you again. Thanks.